And now, streaming out of Northeast Ohio, representing marks, drunks, and a little bit of kayfabe, AIW Fan Club. It's wrestling and podcasting, previewing and reviewing all motherfucking day. People of the world, I give to you wrestling fucking cheers!
Taking your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially after 792 days. This is Wrestling Cheers. We'd like to talk about things going on in the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews along the way. This is the long-awaited preview of Gauntlet for the Gold 15. I'm your host, Justin Summers, and Wrestling Cheers is brought to you by the Trending Topics Network and Midwest Territory. Please rate, review, and subscribe your ever listen to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com, and we don't have a merch store anywhere. Like I said, this is finally, after 26 months, we have the Gauntlet for the Gold 15 preview. Already introduced myself, and we have none other than Charly Butters tonight.
Oh, reliable.
If you're not taking a nap.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you got to get those naps in.
But it's been 26 months that we've waited for this show. Probably longer since most of us bought tickets. Will have to be longer. Tickets for this probably went on sale maybe early January, late February. Shit, maybe even like end of 2019. I can't even remember. Nah, it's got to be January. I would say.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's all the blur, but we're finally here. And of all of AIW's marquee events, this is one of my favorites. And mainly it's because I love a good Royal Rumble match. And if I'm correct, and it's been so long, I would think they're going to have a Gauntlet for the Cache.
That would make sense.
Which is always a fun game to play. And where we're at now, too, I wouldn't be like, if they do it, I'll have to ask Pedro. But if they do, there's going to be there has to be a couple. As far as what we've heard about this show, there's a lot of people going. I want to say a 2 minimum, but maybe even like a 3 minimum if they decide to do it at all. How excited are you for Gauntlet?
I'm excited, but like still kind of nervous because like I'm not 100% healed still. So it's like I'm hoping by then I'll be in better shape than I am right now, but I'm still nervous about how that's going to play out. Like if I can be comfortable for the whole show and everything like that, and not have to like tap out and go like lay down somewhere just to like get comfortable for a little bit. But I mean, overall, I'm excited. Like, there's endless possibilities with surprises. Like we know 12 people in the Gauntlet. So that's like 18 that we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's the matches that are announced are excellent. Actually have me excited for an absolute intense title defense. So, you know, that kind of stuff. It's a nice whirlwind of stuff going on. Plus like the pregame in the parking lot's going to be fun. So
we have 12 people on the graphic, but I'm going to say we really know 13 because granted it would be a half surprise because he wasn't confirmed, but Fontaine, he's got to be in it.
That's true.
I said it, I think 3 years ago. I want the megastar Marion Fontaine for one appearance. If he does his regular, version, fine. But I think that would be a huge surprise. Okay, maybe not huge. It'd be huge to me, but
yeah, specifically for you, which is fine. You can want stuff specifically for you. That's allowed to happen.
Well, I think at one point, like, he teased, maybe it was even 2020, he teased about bringing the megastar back, but it sounded like obviously it wouldn't be for Raw, it'd be for other places. But I could be wrong, and that could be 2019, but I swear it was 2020, so we never got it. Do we want to talk about the Gauntlet now, or wait till the end? Because like that'll be the real main event, but there's not like really anything to talk about except for like who we think's gonna win and any potential surprises.
I don't know. It's your show. Whatever you want to do.
Let's. You know what I was about to say? Let's talk about the Gauntlet, but the championship match is going to affect who's going to be in the Gauntlet. So I guess we'll start with this match. The Bang Bros versus Bulking Season. What were your thoughts on Bang Bros?
I think that the Bang Bros getting a shot after the Cybernetico match, not the match itself, but their match at that show, is good. Obviously, that means that they saw something in them that they wanted to bring them back for this show. And I enjoyed both them and Money Shot that debuted at the Winchester show. So I'm glad that we're seeing some more tag teams coming in and getting shots here and there. We're not just relegated to our handful that we have that are very talented, but kind of you need to have some other teams in there sometimes with them.
Well, we have a lot of the tag division that seems going to be like they're going to be in the Gauntlet, so that's going to
potentially, or they're booked elsewhere.
Yeah, there is that part of it because there's a handful of shows that are going on at the same time, especially one in Pennsylvania that's going to take away two of the tag teams. I think this will be a little bit different for Bang Bros because when they had their match versus 9 to 5, there was a part of the audience that was just like, well, I don't know who these guys are, so I'm just going to root for the people that I know. So it was really weird hearing 9 to 5 get cheered for a little bit, but this is going up against Bulking Season. I want to basically say they're a wild card tag team in AIW. I don't necessarily think they're the favorites for a lot of people to beat PME, but given the chance, given the opportunity, like these two tear it up, and they're holding their own in this very competitive division, and I think a lot of people do look over them.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this because we only got that little taste of Bang Bros, and I haven't really seen them anywhere else. Like I know they've done Black Label Pro and some other places, but I'm not as familiar with them. And fucking Bulking Season just, like I said, absolutely kills it. And
I'm sure they can pull a pretty solid tag match out. So it'll be a fun, hopefully they plan this out right and we don't have 17 matches on the card. Hopefully we stick kind of close to what we got. Maybe an additional 1 or 2 here or there. But I'd like to see maybe another match or 2 added, but it doesn't need to go crazy because I definitely want the Gauntlet to get enough time and kind of if they're building it up the way that they're talking about using a whiteboard and all this kind of stuff for it, then I think that it's going to be like one for the ages. It's going to be definitely worth that 2-year wait. So
2 years, 2 months, and a day. I mean, I think they're going to be adding some matches, but I don't necessarily know if they're going to be matches that are going to be announced. They could easily be surprise matches.
Right.
Fuck,
that'll be fine.
We saw it last month, or not last month, but last time we were in Akron. There wasn't Justice versus Pretty Boy Smooth announced. All of a sudden, we hear Smooth's music, and it's like, wait a minute, he wasn't announced. What the fuck? So we know AIW is very familiar with surprises such as that.
Yep.
So yeah, I have no idea. And even too, like we're recording this after I will record this the day that the AIW podcast came out. So I have, unlike last show, I have all the matches that they've mentioned that haven't been officially like posted with graphics, which is only 2. One of them being kind of an important match, and I'm happy that I will be able to talk about it. But AIW for the past, handful of years has gotten out of that run late shit. Like I don't remember what year it was. I think I remember Gauntlet running really fucking late. And like that's within the past 11 years.
We're streaming on IWTV now. It's kind of, we have our set, like we know, like it's usually 4 matches, break 4 matches. So, and yeah, it's not going to be live on IWTV, but they still pretty much stick pretty close to it. We'll probably get a longer intermission because of that, which is always nice.
Yeah.
And then we can still get everything else in. So like we'll be out by like 11. I mean, I'm sure it won't be super duper late. So
they've gotten like so much better with timing, but I think it's one of those things how AIW has grown over time, learning certain lessons and just improving. And like eventually like that was the thing that they had to improve on because, you know, we would have like 3-4 hour show plus intermission.
Right. Well, it's nice that they figured out how to do all that. So it's like, it's again, why they're one of the better companies when it comes to that. A lot more companies should be on the ball like that and be able to time their stuff out as good as, and a lot of them are now because they have to because of IWTV. So, I mean, it's great that IWTV kind of forced that on them, but at the same time, like it modernized and fixed a lot of the issues that indie wrestling shows had where like they could go 4 or 5 hours when they didn't need to. They needed to just be the 3 and done. And it's nice that, you know, there's checks and balances with that now. So
Bang Bros versus Bulking Season. Who you got?
Oh, let's go. I'll go Bang Bros.
Yeah, I got to go Bulking Season. I think Chuck Stone is going to murder some Bang Bros.
Probably.
All right, let's move on to the next one. We have talked about these two so much over the past year, and the trajectory they both have taken, very similar, and now they got a match. Derek Dillinger versus Chase Oliver. Easily this match could be a number 1 contender to the Intense title.
Is it for the number 1 contendership?
Oh, it's not, but I'm just saying like it could easily be.
Okay. Yeah, I mean these two guys have been on the rise, and anybody's match, you know, I've kind of been like waiting for this match to happen because of, you know, they've been, you know, parallel together for a while. Obviously you got to give the advantage to Derek. You have Ziggy in his corner. Seen what she's done at last how many matches. Basically got to have eyes in the back of your head and watch her try to climb up on the ropes and interfere when you're on the top rope, and be interesting to see what Chase can do to counteract Ziggy. So
Chase also has the advantage of most of this last year. He's been in like multi-man matches, so he has always had to have his head on a swivel. The only difference is you obviously get less in the multi-man matches where your opponents are teaming up against you, because that's what you would have with Ziggy.
Right.
The only thing that I wish that this match was at the Odeon. Like there's something about like this match, not necessarily this whole card, but like this match under those lights makes perfect sense. And I think it's mainly because I have this in my head as like, this is a number 1 contender match to a championship that hasn't been singly defended since November 2019.
I mean, the Cybernetico made Dom number 1 contender, and Derek was the last one in that match besides Dom, so that puts him right up there anyway. He'd essentially be number 2 contender to the absolute title right now in my book. So,
man, going by that logic, like you got Duke in like the top 4.
Yeah, Duke wins matches.
I can't remember if I said it on the review. I probably did, but I'll repeat myself if so. I do kind of wish it would have came down to Team Carrington eliminating all of Team Greenie. So it would come down to the Duke versus Derek, and then just Derek beating the shit out of the Duke. I thought that'd be great. Cause like for me, in my head, like the moment would be like, all right, how probably would have been like Dom would have got eliminated. And then you kind of got like this moment where Derek just turns to the Duke, and like you can see the devil in his eyes, and you could see the devil in Ziggy's eyes as she fucking like turns it up even more and goes crazy and just obliterates the Duke. But I'm fine with Dom winning too.
I think you love the Duke a little bit too much. I think that's what that is. That's some repressed sexual tension with you and the Duke.
How?
I don't know, man. The way you describe him getting destroyed makes me wonder.
No, because it goes more with the intensity and everything in Derek and Ziggy's eyes. Hey, if you're going to call me out on saying dad jokes, I'm going to call you out on saying dumb shit. But like I said, I was fine with Dom winning. These two one-on-one is going to be great, though. Yeah,
getting back to the actual match, it'll be a good match.
Who do you got in it?
I'm going to go with Derek.
I'm going to go with Chase. It's kind of a tough pick between the two, but yeah, give me Chase on this. All right, let's move into our next match. Filthy Tom Lawler versus Kaplan.
Going to be a slugfest.
You know, we talk about Chase and Derek and like the year that they've had. The resurgence that Kaplan has had in AIW over the last year has been pretty fucking crazy. And I look back at like, there's basically just all these years that we didn't have Kaplan because of his job that he was having where he would be gone. Imagine if Kaplan was there every single month at AIW during that time and he was able to have these matches. Kaplan potentially could have been like a bigger star in AIW. I mean, he's a big star now, but like it could have happened earlier. There's always been this thing with Kaplan that he was pretty much always been loved just because of like the style that he has. Just relentless. I don't give a fuck. And I think at the beginning he was supposed to be a bad guy and like he was just like, nah. I mean, we were like, no, fuck that. We're cheering this guy. This guy's fucking awesome. How do you feel about this match?
It's gonna be brutal, man. I think that Tom is the more agile of the two, so I expect him to snake his way around Kaplan and maybe choke him out, or who knows.
Yeah, that's the one thing of Kaplan, like having to get through Filthy Tom. That's not easy. This isn't, some ordinary independent wrestler. This is a former UFC fighter and a current New Japan wrestler.
Right.
Like this is like a legit dude towards like the top of the class of fucking badasses that you could potentially have. As much as I would like to pick Kaplan, I don't pick against Filthy Tom. Maybe in a multi-man match, but not one-on-one. Who do you got?
Tom.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Isaiah Broner versus Eddie Kingston. You want to talk about a fucking brutal match? This is going to be fucking really hard-hitting.
Yeah, this will probably be even more hard-hitting than the Suzuki match was with Broner. So...
Well, because Eddie Kingston's not a murder grandpa. He's probably your murder uncle, but not a grandpa. And that Eddie runs over kids. How do you feel about Eddie Kingston coming back?
It's cool. It's always cool to see Eddie come back. It's only been like, a year since he was back before. So it's cool that he's coming back this time to have a match with Isaiah Broner and come hang out with us for Gauntlet finally.
Fuck, that's right. I did say that I wanted to see Eddie Kingston in Gauntlet last year. Granted, we didn't get it, but he's here for Gauntlet.
Yeah, you wanted him for Gauntlet, and then I think the discussion turned to we wanted him for a J-Lit weekend, so we had him all weekend.
Mm-hmm, yep. When it comes down, I think, to Kingston, it's like watching this dude rise to get where he's at now is pretty fucking awesome. Like, I just think of like all the times that, we had Eddie around. I'm not going to say I took it for advantage, but he was a dude that it's not that I didn't think he was going to get signed. I was just afraid that he wouldn't get signed. Like there was definitely like a lot of talent there, and why like nobody had picked him up was beyond me. He got that little run in Impact, but that was literally in the middle of, owner transfer, changing hands. Because the group he was in, like, changed, like, halfway through. Like, their motive and everything. Like, it's just horrible. But when I started off, it was fucking great. And I don't think Eddie was getting, like, mic time. Now he is. And now so many people are seeing what we've seen for years. And here's the second time he's come back since being signed. First as a total surprise against Dom. And now we got fucking Isaiah, who hasn't even been AIW a year. And he's been fucking tearing shit up. Like, even though he lost against Suzuki, like, he still fucking looked good.
Yeah.
And I'm not expecting this to, it's going to sound weird, but I don't expect this to go as light as it did versus Suzuki. And of course that match wasn't light, but I'm expecting just so much more because fucking Kingston and Broner can fucking hit. We've seen it multiple times from both of them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's going to be lots of noise coming from that ring, so.
I would say this is one that I kind of wish was at the Odeon, but when I think of just fun matches and what I remember visually from them, I do think of the Winchester. Did Kingston go against Sakimoto or was it somebody else?
I have no idea. It would make sense that it was Kingston, but I don't know.
Okay, as I look it up real quick. No, it wasn't Kingston. It was against someone I forgot about. It's KTB.
Ah, KTB.
Yeah, because I had like just the image of Sakimoto going against somebody in that lighting of the Winchester and remembering when he would get chopped, like just the sweat mist coming up and just being able to see it in the light. And I couldn't remember who he went up against. I was thinking Kingston. I was thinking Mance. No, fucking KTB.
So I remember APSO 2019 when Eddie and Tom Lawler did their chop battle, and you could see the fucking sweat just misting off of them at the Odeon.
Yeah, I do remember that one too.
That was wild.
Like, do you remember a time when Eddie was like, I'm gonna fucking hang it up. Like, if I don't get signed by the end of this year, I'm fucking done. And that was 2019.
Yeah.
So he was so close of just being done with it. And here he is now signed to a big contract on TV most weeks. Had some pretty interesting feuds that you wouldn't thought that was going to happen, 3 years ago. So it's like, I'm really happy that he didn't just throw it all away.
Yeah. Once he got that opportunity against Cody, I mean, that was, you kind of knew right there, like he was set.
The thing that I'll always remember about that match the most, other than the match itself, it was the way Arn Anderson sold the ending, where like he was relieved that the match was finally over because like he knew how close it was that Eddie could have fucking won.
Right.
Isaiah Broner, Eddie Kingston, who you got?
Man, I don't know. I'll go with Broner.
Yeah, I'm going Kingston. I'd pick Broner, but he came back last time and beat Dom, and this is a little bit more sharpened Eddie Kingston than we saw before, so I'm expecting.
I don't know. This one's gonna be all bandaged up. He's gonna have a fireball in the face.
I think I missed that. I didn't watch Dynamite last week.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
Then I missed it then too. I don't know. I
can see you don't watch AEW. It's fine.
I edit during fucking AEW. Sometimes I have it on my iPad. Other times I don't, because I don't have a TV set up in here. I got a TV in here, but it's in the box because I don't have room for shit. Conversation we had before we started recording. So yeah, I try, and I do like a lot of the people that are in AEW's roster. A lot of them are AEW alumni, but still. All right, let's move on to the championship match. The AIW Absolute and Intense title match. Dominic Greeny versus Matt Cardona. So I know you're picking Cardona for this one. Like, why do you think Cardona's winning?
Because everybody forgets about that little rat fuck, Casey Carrington, and his little band of merry men that are going to help Broski win because they're idiots that don't know any better. Because if they were smart, they would help Dom win, and then they could try to take the belts off of Dom. But they're not smart like that, so they're going to fuck it up for Dom, being short-sighted. And, yeah, that's how it's going to play out.
See, I don't know if that's going to work out well for him. We've seen times where people interfere and backfires. Match still continues.
It all depends. All depends on how focused Dom is. He's got that hometown crowd behind him. He's, already aware that could happen, so he's got something planned. You never know.
I think Dom, he's going to know what to expect from Carrington, Carson, maybe Jackson Stone. I don't know where he's going to be, But he also knows what to expect from Broski and PME. And maybe Chelsea if she's there. I don't know if she will be, won't be. That necessarily hasn't been announced, but he's going to know what to expect. And I think unlike the match against J-Pro, Dom is going to be a little bit more patient. I don't know if he is going to be the one to say, like, oh, make this a no DQ match. Dom can wait. If Broski wants to just keep getting out of the ring, Dom will be like, that's fine. Because he knows that he can beat him. But the deck isn't stacked in his favor.
Certainly is not.
There's a part of me that kind of wants Dom to win. And win the title. Because technically he could win, but not win the title. Well, depending on if this will officially be an intense rules match. What if Dom and Cardona put on an absolute clinic? Think Cardona's gonna hit Dom with a few drop toe holds.
Is that what you think a clinic is?
No, that was
Are you making fun of Cardona and saying that's what he thinks a clinic is?
No, I'm making a reference for people. If they know, they know. If they don't, they don't.
Okay.
But the questions were kind of separate. One was a reference, the other one wasn't. Like, what if Cardona and Dom do put on a clinic?
I don't know. We'll have to see if Broski can handle that.
I mean,
No, Dom can. Don't know if Broski can handle that.
He's the NWA champion.
NWA hasn't meant shit in 40 fucking years. Please stop. You're the champion of people like Jayhawk. That matters.
I wouldn't say 40, but maybe meet in the middle, 35.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, they were dwindling really in the 90s, and I won't count that. Like, NWA kind of stopped being something big-ish when Shane Douglas threw down their title. I don't even know if I want to count the TNA years. Sometimes I forget that actually happened. Any more thoughts on Cardona and Dom?
Nope.
Who do you got?
I'm going to go hope against all hope and say Dominic Garrini.
I'm going to say Dominic Garrini wins, but I don't know if he'll win the title or titles. If it becomes a no DQ or it's an intense title match, I'm going with Broski. If it doesn't, saying Dom wins, but he doesn't win the titles. Could you imagine, though, Dom winning? Like, the reaction.
Oh, I'd lose my shit. All 300 pounds of me injured and all. I'd be fucking losing my shit.
You gotta take another 6 weeks off of work because you fucked up your back even more.
I'll have 6 more weeks to take.
I should
8 total. I have 8 total and I'm at 6 now.
I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. All right, let's move on to the only other match we got. The main event of Gauntlet for the Gold 15. It's the Gauntlet for the Gold. We have some people announced, basically, because they're on the graphic. We have members only, PME, Kaplan, Broner, Carrington, Dillinger, Rip City Shooters, Filthy Tom, and the Duke.
Yeah, a couple people pulling double duty here. I wasn't expecting that. I was hoping for a fresh slate both ways, but all right. There is a moment that I really, really want between two people that are on this thing here that on the graphic that I haven't crossed paths yet. I really want to see them kind of do a little face off. I think that'd be really cool.
What would it be?
Bishop and Broner. Sign of things to come.
Have they not crossed paths?
Not that I'm aware of. Not in AIW.
I mean, yeah, that part I get. Like, yeah, you're right. I thought that they might have crossed paths in some multi-man match.
Right.
But they didn't. Because the multi-man matches that Isaiah's been in was the one he debuted in, or debuted at the Odeon in, should say, like a main card debut. Levi Everett, Derek Dillinger, and Filthy Tom are the other people in that match. And then obviously there was that other match with Pretty Boy Smooth, Kaplan, and Lawler. I think I kind of pictured Bishop in that last match just because, like, he fits. Like, if they would have added Bishop to that match, no one would have been like, oh, that's out of place. It's like, oh, no, yeah, they're going to fuck each other up. Now we have one more to it, but yeah, that would be a good one. I mean, that's if they do cross paths. Who else do you want to see in this match that we're not expecting?
Long shot. let's see. Long shot surprises. I think it'd be super cool to see Adam Cole. I don't know why. I just think it'd be cool for him to be in it.
As long as he wears a Laredo Kid mask.
No.
I mean, he could take it off in the middle of the ring. He has to do what he did before.
No, I want the whole entrance, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but you don't do the whole entrances in the Gauntlet.
Sure you do.
No, you don't.
He could be number one and get the whole entrance. It'll be fine. Who else?
Oh, and I forgot to mention for the championship match, whoever loses will be entered in the Gauntlet. So technically, oh, wait a minute. What if? Okay, I'm going to go back and change my pick. Broski's winning. Because I would figure the caveat there would be, well, Broski loses, but Dom doesn't win the title. Would that mean Broski then gets entered? Or would they go with, well, because he didn't win the title? Dom goes, oh, so I'm just going to go with Broski.
Maybe they both go in.
So I think Dom will be in the Gauntlet. Though there is a part of me that's picturing Dom wins, and then Broski goes into the Gauntlet and wins the Gauntlet. Any other long shots you got?
Let's see.
Just not necessarily long shots, too. It's people that we're not necessarily expecting to see, like, we wouldn't say Mikey. Because we know Mikey's going to potentially be in it. He's an AIW roster member. But are there former roster members that potentially show up? Are there...
Danhausen.
Are there people who... It's not that they're not roster members anymore. It's just like they don't necessarily come around a lot. Because I know AIW has mentioned them, Thorne in particular, obviously, of, sometimes it's just, hey, there's nothing for you right now. So, we're going to mutually split ways for a little bit. We'll come back and bring you in from time to time when we need you. And that, like, it's kind of like Fontaine. I mean, we figure Fontaine's going to be in it, but someone like that to where it's like, just because we don't see him every month or once a year, like he's still on good terms. So, kind of people like that. I know we won't see Jock. I'll throw that spoiler out. He's
Could be Razor Sharp.
Do we do that again? Yeah, I'm skeptical on that. Oh shit, you know what I just realized? We've never had a Gauntlet at the Odeon because 2019 Gauntlet was at the St. John the Baptist.
Yep.
That was the Cat Piss show.
Yep.
So yeah, that was the last time yeah, maybe. But at the same time, Razor Sharp has not had an AIW match in over a year. The last time we saw him in a match was a pre-show match, and it was not well accepted. Or no, when we saw him in Gauntlet for the Gold, or Go for Broke.
Hey, they ain't ready, man. That's all I'm saying. They ain't ready.
I don't know. It's like I want it, but I don't want it. I'll always go for I want Fruth and Winners. They'll never show.
What's Wardlow doing Saturday? Maybe he can come throw some people around.
Well, he's not under AEW contract. Thorne's good with MJF, so we can get him in that way.
No, the AEW doesn't. They don't want to have Broner put him on his ass before they make a big TV star out of him. So can't do that.
Fuck, that's a match we missed out on. We didn't get Wardlow in AIW enough, in my opinion. He was one of those dudes that we basically just got like a taste. He didn't get to make himself at home like Broner has. They even said there could be debuts. I don't know who would debut. Think we can get Dan the Dad?
No thanks.
What if Jeffrey John comes back?
Yeah, that'd be fine, whatever. It's not a debut, but whatever.
Obviously, because I said come back. I'm just thinking of other people. The return of Facade. I'm not holding my breath. Yeah, but at the same time, I think they somewhat mentioned it. Or no, they didn't. I was Joe Sposto on at Odds with Wrestling that in 2016, was it? Whatever Gauntlet it was where, Justice came back. Like, that was supposed to be a one-off. And fucking Justice, hadn't been wrestling for a little while. Short amount of time, but a little while. And he hadn't been in AIW in forever. And I swore I saw a comment from either Thorne or Biggins or AIW account in general saying, like, we wouldn't see Justice in AIW. I mean, this was years before he came back. So, So I don't know if I'd say I'd hold my breath. I wouldn't hold my breath for Facade, but it could happen.
Yep. Dude, it's you never know what's going to happen. That's why, you got to be there live to see it, because it'll probably be something massive. It's usually not something that, nobody gives a shit about. It's usually a big deal when there's surprises.
Yeah.
I mean, Eddie Kingston was the surprise a year ago. Like, that was a big fucking deal. Like, it's
He was the surprise on a mystery card where we didn't necessarily know anybody who was going to be in any match. They could have been there the day before. They might not have been. So that's something when you're the surprise on a fucking mystery show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head. I definitely appreciate, I don't want to say I love it, but I appreciate it when there's a few that are just like older names. People that, if you've been a fan of AIW long enough, you get it.
Like the franchise Shane Douglas.
Yeah, because you have to have been an AIW fan for a handful of years to really know who the franchise Shane Douglas is. You never heard of ECW or WCW or XPW or WWE. Like, you don't know any of that. You just know him from the times he was at AIW.
That's right. AIW legend.
But I like it when it's people that older AIW fans can appreciate. Like if it was Chest Flexor. Obviously, he doesn't have to go a long time. Just a random reference to older days of AIW. It doesn't even necessarily have to go that far back. Fucking someone like Dick Justice. It won't happen, but someone like Kiku Taro. And it's not a knock towards like these kind of fans, but it's like when you get the newer fans that are, maybe they came in because of Cardona or whatever reason, like they might not necessarily get. And it's not that I don't want them to be included. I just remember a time when I first started going, and like one of I think it might have been the second or third Gauntlet I went to, like they pulled out some old Cleveland names where I was like, who the fuck is this?
Who's J-Rock?
No, I don't think J-Rock came out. I'd have to pull up the fucking, I think I could pull it up on Cage Match, but it won't have everybody's name. But there were some names I'm like, I don't know who these people are. But it was more of like a celebration of Cleveland wrestling. And it wasn't everybody. Like there was like maybe 3, but it was still like people I just never heard of. So I just think it'd be cool to pull those. Like, how would you react if the Chad came out?
I'd ask for a refund.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head. But yeah, AW has a lot of people that could show up. Some really big surprises, other ones maybe not as much, but they got a lot to choose from. And like you said, if they're gonna use a fucking whiteboard to plan this shit out, yeah, it's got to be something special.
Yep.
Who do you got winning?
I'm gonna stick with my pick from the beginning of the year, Derek Dillinger.
We're not gonna go over those picks right now. I know we've looked at them and discussed them, but that's a discussion I like to have more at the year end when we've played through the whole year. But I'm gonna have to go with Joshua Bishop. I think that's a big hometown win.
So you're saying you're changing your pick from the beginning of the year?
No, because what I'm saying is when we do those, you're taking a shot in the dark without knowing anything. Like, let's say me and you right now were to pick who's going to win the Super Bowl next year. And if our pick isn't necessarily in contention come playoff time, you might change your mind. Or you might change a different pick because this is more of a different circumstance pick. And I also said, we're not talking about those picks, correct?
Whatever.
That would be a yes. That's exactly what I said. So I'm picking Joshua Bishop. And that's Gauntlet for the Gold. Any final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go?
Nope.
Don't plug anything?
The pregame starts at 4. Bring food.
Oh yeah, there is the tailgate that's going on. You could probably done a little bit better just saying bring food. Maybe pay.
I think the only thing we really need right now is if people want to bring stuff, bring drinks, cups, silverware, paper plates, that kind of thing. I know there's going to be burgers. There's going to be brownie sundaes. I'm bringing some deer jerky.
I got to pull my coolers out of storage. Things about mine, like, they're not, like, huge. Like, I don't know, there might need to be more. It's not like one of those, like, really long ones. I got 2, like, regular size coolers. And hopefully the weather holds up. I was planning on doing a weather report on this episode, but totally forgot. As for me, you can find me at jsummers330 on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, much like you can find this show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose, to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com, and we no longer have a merch store anywhere. Like I said earlier in the show, please rate, review, and subscribe your ever listen to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Check out our friends on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, Eurovision Showcase, The Spanish Announce Table. Check out our other podcast friends, such as Pod Van Dam, Super Fantastic Podcast, It's Evolution Baby, The IndieCast, Sobros Network, Biff Radio, GameWorks Podcast, Powerbomb Jitsu, The Spotlight Series, Fully Posable, Doing the Favor, Positively Pro Wrestling, IWTV Guide, If You Catch My Grift, At Odds with Wrestling, Marks with Mics, X Over Podcast, This Ends at Prom, and Porch Talk. Check out our other non-podcasting friends, such as Thrift Store Jobber, The Savage Dash, The Mystery Men, Redline Radio, Mouse's Wrestling Adventures, VHS Party Tonight on Instagram, Heart of Gold, Toy Hio Toy Show, Time Capsule Toys, Stay Tough, Smokin' Jay's Barbecue, and remember, you can use promo code CHEERS for a discount on your order. JCP Designs, Midwest Territory, Southern Underground Pro, and the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name. And we're finally getting this fucking show. Later.
It's the Wrestling Cheers. Get up on your feet, brightening your day in the middle of the week. And you gotta love the show. Yeah, you know it holds a title for the best podcast talking wrestling in Ohio. Finishing a cold one, take a load off. We ain't all about the prohibition like Josh, so we cheers. And then we sit back. Other shows are in the trash, kinda like they Nick Stapp. Like the name is Matt Justice, wearing all the gold. Wrestling Cheers is coming to a close. The #1 podcast going in the game. And one day everybody's gonna know the name. It's the Wrestling Cheers. This is Platinum Max, signing off. Ohio, good night. The world, good night. We love you. We'll see you next week.